Yeah, there's a couple in here. I went back and listened to it. And I was like, why was I so unwilling to give out Fs back in the day?
Yeah, like the creators of these movies were gonna find our grades.
Yeah,
we have been accused of being too hard on films, and I went back a couple times, and I think it's the exact opposite. When movies are bad, like really, really bad, we shit on it, but the grades don't ever reflect like how bad some of these films are to us because we find something to like because we just like movies. But we're done with that shit, bro. It's time to be very honest about some of these films that we have reviewed in the past, and I'm very excited about this episode.
Yeah, welcome to the One Take podcast. I'm not sure if we're going to call this a full episode or not. We didn't have a movie to review this week. Kind of a down period. I mean, Where the Crawdads Sing is kind of the big release this week, and it wasn't not a great movie apparently. Dex, you enjoyed your time, but you read the book.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see that,
now.
but
I read books.
Probably not going to the theater for that, but I'm gonna watch that eventually.
It's definitely a movie you can just watch when it comes out on Netflix or wherever it ends up streaming, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it felt like a 2000. I said it was like a 2008 movie, starring. Oh, who was Fergie's husband? Josh Duhamel. Like that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. But so we're gonna do a One Take podcast retakes, our movie retakes. We're gonna go back in movies we have changed our opinions on over time. So it'll be interesting to see how we do this. And like you were saying, Tej, we've historically like given just middling grades to bad movies.
Yep. Yeah, we were too nice. A little too nice.
Way too nice to some of these films.
Which a lot of our brand has been over time, just completely eviscerating movies, but then giving it like a C+. So
this will be everything about it. It was absolute garbage. C+.
Yeah, it was fine. I don't know.
I legit don't think that I remember anyone giving an F or even a D to any movie on this podcast. Granted, I was not on every episode, but I don't remember even when I was listening before I was a part of the podcast. I don't remember y'all giving anything an F.
Rarely, if ever. You came on the podcast in the, let's see, you did a few episodes, but you really came on the podcast around like the 50s is when you kind of came on.
Okay. Makes
sense. And really since then we hadn't been doing a bunch of shit movies because you just refused to like see bad movies.
Hey man. And also movies started coming out.
Yeah, movies started coming.
Hey, I came up gold this week. Y'all see what happened to the Snyder Cut. I've been vindicated in my stance against the Snyder Cut this week, bros. That happened.
If you didn't know, the Snyder Cut used a bot farm to try and get to get made, pretty much. Right?
The most obvious shit in the world.
Yeah,
very obvious. But it happened.
So we can go either way on this. I'd like to see of a movie that we've kind of gone back and actually thought better of over time but these picks have to be within movies that we reviewed on this podcast.
I got a few of those.
Yeah. So
I got a couple that I've like improved on or whatever.
We can go round robin here. We don't have to do all the ones that we say in a row, but Dex, you just did your homework. So let's get number one from you. What's a movie that you've changed your mind on?
So speaking of not giving out enough Fs on this podcast, I got to go back and give Wonder Woman 1984 an F.
Yes.
I gave it a D plus, or I gave it a D for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but the movie fucking stinks, man. It's an F. Like it was so obviously an F in the moment. Not sure why I didn't give it an F. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, why the fuck did that happen? Did that happen? Like it feels fake.
Yeah. That was one of the movies that had come back to theater. Yeah. In 2021. And that we were kind of just so good to see movies again, but we were like trying not to give it an F when in reality, we all hated that movie. It's one of the funniest podcasts I think we've ever done because it was like, what was that? And Shout out to Jake, the only one to have any balls. He like looked at us. He's like, guys,
F.
It's an F.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to if you didn't. Yeah, I gave it a D- also. But going back and you're looking at it, and it's like that was one of the worst superhero properties to come out ever, like in recent memory. And like it's not like Spawn bad or whatever. But
yeah, and apparently it's not Morbius bad, which like I haven't seen and probably will never see at this point.
Thank God we beat the Morbius allegations.
But yeah, it's an F. It's like if you would, it would get like a 20 on a paper.
This
is another movie that I have not seen. I have not seen Wonder Woman 1984. And fun fact, I have not finished the first Wonder Woman. I tried to start it 3 times. I never got through it. I gave up on it.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Wonder Woman, like, the original Wonder Woman isn't good. Like it's way better, obviously, than Wonder Woman 84, but it's still not like actually good to me.
Wonder Woman 84 makes the first Wonder Woman look like the Godfather.
Facts. That's insane. Because I was very bored. Very Wonder Woman that I'm now watching. I was extremely bored.
Yeah, that's early on in the. I only listened to like a few minutes of the podcast we did on Wonder Woman 1984. But in my review, I talked about the fact that like Kristen Wiig just turned into a cat. Like that's just not
out of nowhere.
There was like literally no reason for it. Like her character is named Cheetah, and like you're supposed to know that, like just as a comic book fan. But like they just don't ever mention it in the movie. So in the movie, she just turns into a cat. Like
she's like, I want to be the apex predator, and then turns into a cheetah. You're like, what?
Yeah, and then at the end of the movie, she's just not a cat anymore. Like that's just gone. It's just
also all the stuff with like bringing Steve back. It's not Steve Rogers, but I forget what his name. It doesn't matter. But bringing Chris Pine back, but not Chris Pine, but like an avatar for Chris Pine through another person's body.
Yeah, it's Chris Pine, but it's also some other dude's like body and face and mind or something. It's dumb. It's trash.
Poorly constructed movie.
It's an F. Yeah. I think we were trying not to sound like misogynists like when we reviewed the movie.
Right.
That's like, fair. Don't want to be canceled.
Yeah, we spent the first like 20 minutes being like, this movie does suck, but it doesn't suck just because women made it. Like it sucks because it's like actually bad.
Well, it sucks because it's all. It sucks because it sucks. Yeah. But the funniest thing that Sarah ever said was she came on here and she was like, it is I, a woman, here to tell you that this movie stinks.
It's fucking time. But yeah, Wonder Woman 1984, moving down to an F, where it should have been all along.
I'll probably join you in that critique, to be honest. Tej, do you have one that you would move up or down right now?
All right, I'm gonna start negative. We can move up some stuff later.
Right.
I gotta go here. I've been warming up this take on Twitter a little bit, guys. Whatever I gave Dune, which I think I gave it like a B- or a C something, somewhere in that range.
I think you may have given it a C+, but I don't quote me on that.
Dune is a phenomenal looking movie. So I'm not here to give it an F because I can appreciate how beautiful it looked and how difficult some of that stuff was to capture on screen and how good some of the CGI looked. So I cannot give it an F. However, Dune is a D, guys. That shit fucking stinks. I'm sorry, bro. That shit is boring as fuck, bros. That is long, it's boring, and I just had a bad taste in my mouth when I sat down in the theater ready for Dune, a little bit high, very excited because I love this director, and they slapped the part 1 on the screen. I was very disappointed with that. And people were like, well, if you read the books, I was like, no, bros, we're talking about movies. I didn't read the fucking books. I expected to see a movie, and that's fine if you're going to split up the movie. More movies is better for me. I love it. But when you make me make a 3-hour snooze fest film, like, what are we doing? You just gave me, I just paid to watch a 3-hour trailer of Dune 2, which is the one that's going to be awesome. Now Florence Pugh is going to be in it. I love Florence Pugh. I got to see it now, but I have to watch a 3-hour completely boring commercial. This movie has no feeling at all.
None.
The part I was most looking forward to in this film, the character I was most looking forward to getting to know, she's not in the movie. Like,
she's like doesn't actually
for like 5 minutes.
It's like how LaCroix is like the hint of Barry, like the hint of Zendaya is in this movie.
Yeah, the idea of Zendaya. She's a vision. She's a dream.
I'm all in for Dune 2. Don't try to use this against me. I'm going to be there night one for Dune 2. And I'm going to expect the best, and I'm waiting to have a good time. But I can tell you, I had no fun in this movie, bros. The only scene that was kind of fun was the scene where he puts his hand in a little box. That was kind of fun. Other than that, it was a waste of Oscar Isaac. I had no fun at all. And
it was so weird.
Why
and
did we have to have so little fun? Now you're getting Oscar nominations. Why can't we just have a little bit of fun at the movie theaters? Or make me feel something for the characters? Because I can tell you now, I don't remember any of the characters in this film. Right here. I've watched that movie probably a month ago. I remember Zendaya, who wasn't in the movie. I remember the main character. I don't remember shit else about this film. One of those dudes died or something. I don't remember shit about this film.
Y'all got on here and told me that Timothée Chalamet was got next for him whisper talking into the camera the entire time.
And I'm taking that shit back. I'm on Team Royd now. I'm with Royd now.
I gotta come back on
the whole time.
I thought I saw the vision, but
I did too. But it was fake. It was a fake vision. Royden was right the entire time.
Y'all got back into the theater.
With the hands in the box. I was like, hey.
Y'all got back into the theater. You got your movie theater popcorn. Everybody was in there breathing on each other, and you felt alive for the first time in years.
That's what happened.
And Timothée Chalamet whisper talked his way into your hearts, and I will not stand for it. That character was so devoid of any emotion whatsoever.
I just can't get over the fact that his name is just Paul.
Oh yeah, they all like Baron Harkonnen and all these names, and it's just fucking Paul.
Duncan, Idaho, and
Denis. I love you. I love your films. Dune is a sleep that next when Dune 2 is coming around, and I would normally go back and rewatch Dune 1 so I can be ready for Dune 2. I'm just gonna read the plot. I'm just gonna read the Wikipedia. I'm not watching this 2-3 hour drab fest again. The sandworms, they look kind of cool. Yeah, they looked a little bit cool, but I could see that scene on YouTube. I don't have to go back through this whole movie meeting all these people again. All right, I'm done with that. Dune, I'm putting that down to a D. And I got more fire, but Dune, I had to get off my chest first because it's been burning me all week, bros.
Also, the fact that everybody that's like even slightly cool in that movie just dies.
Yeah,
everybody's just dead. You just move on.
I think Momoa was oozing charisma on that screen. They just were like, he's got to go.
Yeah, get him out of
go.
Here. Josh Brolin might be kind of cool. Dead. Oscar Isaac might be kind of cool. Dead.
Yeah.
You get Paul and his mom. That's it.
Yeah. Paul and his weird relationship with his witch mom. I don't go that far down on that movie. How you feel about that is kind of how I feel about Blade Runner 2049, another Denis Villeneuve movie, which is like, what is happening here, guys?
Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns, incredible to look at. Ooh, I lost the plot. All you need to know about Dune is that it won every below the line award and didn't even get considered for anything to do with like story, really. I think it got best adapted screenplay nomination, but they didn't even like sniff that award.
Not close.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see how they go with the second one if like more happens, but like
more
Florence
has
Pugh
to
can't
happen.
be that boring. Florence Pugh cannot be as boring as that first movie. Like the
Austin
literally
Butler
it won't
can't
work.
be that boring.
It won't work.
Yeah, they got fucking Elvis and fucking the new Black Widow out here. Like it has to be fire.
A movie that I'm going to decrease my score on. Like I said, let's get negative.
I thrive off negativity.
I go back and listen to it, and I listen to this podcast pretty often of our own, like of that we listen to, because I'm astounded by this movie. And this sounds like, oh, you listen to all your own content. Yeah, sometimes.
A little bit, but
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, whatever. I like what we put out, guys, but I go back and listen to this because to me it's one of the funnier ones that we ever did. But I'm also astounded by this movie. The Matrix 4 deserves an F.
I had that on my list.
The Matrix 4, I gave a D+, I think, to, or a D- maybe. And even that is way too high. That movie is mind-boggling. I like go back and I was like, what even did they put on the screen when it came to that movie? And they slapped the Matrix title and tried to like, I don't know. They put Keanu and like his John Wick hair and they put him in the movie and they called it The Matrix. And it just wasn't that. It was so confounding and confusing and just not well put together.
And also boring.
And also boring.
Like, I can't believe they convinced Keanu to do that film. I literally can't believe that. That guy has such great taste. He makes such great decisions with his career. I understand that he feels an affinity towards the Wachowskis, but you only got one Wachowski doing this, and that film was an absolute mess, bro. From the writing to the way that it looked to the CGI to the plot, it was literally all a mess. I'm with Royden. I don't think I gave it an F at the time, but that is an F film.
I can give it an F now if I didn't give it an F then. Like, I think, I legitimately fell asleep in the movie theater watching that movie.
Yeah, you talked about that in the podcast, is that you and your entire family fell asleep.
We were all like, incredible. What the fuck is this?
Falling asleep on a Matrix movie is unfathomable. Even the bad Matrix movies are at least cool. I don't know what the hell they gave us with Matrix 4. That was one of the worst movies that I've ever seen. Like,
also, I'm
glad that we have
Christmas.
It was on my list too.
It's like the most well rested I'm ever going to be is on Christmas. And like all of us were like, it's out of there. Like, just could not stay awake.
And I'll continue another movie that I think we all are going to give an F on this. Space Jam.
No, I'm not going to give that an F.
Oh, you're not?
Insane.
I am not going to give that.
I gotta go back and give it an F. That movie stinks, dude. Oh, we were all too kind to that movie.
I'm with Roy. That movie is an absolute piece of shit. That shit stinks. Sorry, LeBron. That shit stinks, brother.
Look, I knew it wasn't going to be good when I signed up to watch it, and I got what I expected, and that's fine with me. I'm not going to give it an F.
Like, we know it's a movie for kids, and the first one was a movie for kids, and the first one isn't good either. Whatever this was, the circle jerk of WB that they put in this movie was
disgusting.
Insane. I hate this movie. Yuck. The movie is not good. Also, LeBron James, who I think can actually like act a little bit when he's not having to carry a movie. Not good. Not good even a little bit. So yeah. Anyway, Dex.
You stole two off my list.
All right, another one that I'm gonna move down. Let's just get this out of the way now. Love Actually, I gave a C- when we did that for like the 2020 Christmas episode.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna move that down to a D-.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't fuck with that movie at all. I think there are like 6 storylines in it. And literally at the time, I said I only like 2 of the storylines, and I still gave it a C-. So yeah, we're just moving that shit down. Like, it's creepy and weird, and like honestly not very Christmassy, which is weird that people consider it one of the like all-time great Christmas movies or whatever. Yeah, dog. I never want to watch this shit again. Like, I am super good on Love Actually. We're gonna give it a D-.
Okay, I'm next.
I think we might have lost Royden, so yeah.
All right. The next movie I did, fun fact, we did one episode after we did Dune, I think. So we had a 3-week stretch where we did 2 of the worst movies of the year. My next pick is Eternals. I don't think I gave it an F. This shit is an F. I fucking told you assholes. I told everybody that listens to this goddamn podcast, hey, Chloe Zhao's boring. Hey, that shit's going to stink, bros. Chloe Zhao is not good. I'm sorry. It's not because she's a woman. It's because she's boring. Eternals is the most, I have seen worse superhero movies than Eternals. Okay. I'm not going to say it's the worst superhero movie I've ever seen, but it is by far the most boring superhero movie I've ever seen. And that includes Wonder Woman 1, which I fell asleep on 3 times. Okay. Eternals is boring as shit. I just can't believe that film was released. And now their rumor is that they're making another one, which please, Lord, don't let that happen. Please just put them into the MCU somewhere where we're gonna have to use them next. That's fine, but we don't need a whole other Eternals movie. That shit gets an F. I think I gave it a C. That gets an F, bros. Eternals is huff. I'm out of here. And all this rabble rousery that's going on about Phase 4 being trash, that should have been happening at that time, because this is one of the worst MCU movies of all time. Get this shit the fuck out of here. I'd rather watch the first Hulk first. The first Hulk. Maybe I wouldn't rather watch the first Thor. I'd rather watch the first Thor, but maybe not the second Thor. But there are very few MCU movies that I would not watch if I had to pick between that movie and the Eternals. I hate it. Please don't make another one. I love Angelina Jolie just like the next person, but for God's sakes, okay, I like Gemma Chan. She's pretty, but this shit stinks, bros. I don't need any more Rob Stark. I don't need any more any of these guys. I'm good on the Eternals. That's enough.
I think is my internet better now? Can y'all hear me?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. I think we were all pretty kind to that movie because we're like, no way that the MCU is as bad as like these critic reviews. Like, no way it's like a 30% or whatever. And we all were kind of, oh, it's not as bad as like the critics review. And it really isn't that. It's just boring. Yeah, it is just a boring movie. So I would probably lower my grade too. I think I gave it a C+ or something. Like I'd probably give it like a D+ or a C- on that. I know it was boring because my wife and I, she take or leave any film. She's just kind of like, oh, that was good or that wasn't good. She doesn't like go into any critical analysis of it. Like we like overthink these movies. Oh, that was fun. That was entertaining. We kind of let that and she goes like, nothing really happened. Like she was just like, what was that? But yeah, so even she was bored by that movie. Yeah. So that's, it takes a lot to make superhero movies boring in this household is what I'm saying.
I'm way lower on it than I was initially, but I'm still not. It's not an F for me. This is actually kind of gross. Looking at my original review on Twitter, I gave it a B-.
Ooh,
initially, yeah, no. I'm gonna move that down to a C-, but that's where I'm gonna stick for now. I actually did see this movie twice, so like I definitely don't hate it as much.
You wanted to make sure.
I saw it twice in theaters. I think I saw it before y'all did, and like before we could do the pod, and so I went back and saw it again. Like as we got closer to the podcast, I could remember it, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a C- now.
That's absolutely one that I just like will not even touch on Disney Plus. Then that's saying something.
Yeah. No way. Absolutely no fucking way.
A movie that I'm gonna have to change my grade. I'm gonna have to go up on it because I was a big fucking idiot when we were reviewing this movie and I was trying to be a contrarian. I guess Everything Everywhere All at Once I gave an A. Movie's an A+. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about.
Thank you. Because we didn't know what the fuck you were talking about at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like we called you out at the time because we were like, what was missing here for you? Not to like,
and I was just like, I don't know.
I think the knock you gave on it was something like you have to watch the movie the entire time or else it might not make sense. And we were all like, what?
Like if you look down at your phone, you're gonna miss it. Like, yeah, no shit. Yeah, that movie's incredible. I don't know. I kind of was just like, I don't know. I don't have an excuse. This one's on me, guys. This one's on me. Everything Everywhere All at Once should be the leading favorite for Oscars and things like that. If not, I don't know what's wrong with the Oscars. A lot of stuff's wrong with the Oscars, but like it should be the leader in the clubhouse for best movie of the year. And it probably will end up being there. It's like, it's in a dogfight, no pun intended, with Top Gun, but for totally different reasons.
Yeah, completely different reasons. Both incredible movies that deserve A+.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back from I am atoning for my sins. A24 crowd. Everything Everywhere All at Once is an A+.
That's a blessing. I love that.
Growth.
Yeah. See, I can admit when I'm wrong sometimes.
Dex, put something up. Pick a movie that you're raising your grade on.
Yeah, I actually have a couple, similar vein, and I think a similar point in the year. I gave Northman an A. I'm moving that shit up to an A plus. That shit was incredible.
Let's go! Yes!
I'm like happy all over again about it every time I think about it.
This is incredible.
My son Amleth was putting up numbers. Like this shit was so fucking dope, man. Like, are there some scenes that are like a little boring or uninteresting? I guess so, but for the most part, that's like 2.5 hours just fucking fire, like catching bodies left and right in every which way.
Big facts.
Him, her, him, bodies.
That shit was so sick. I'm gonna buy it on DVD, like, and watch that shit over and over, like rewinding slow mo and shit.
I haven't seen
like,
the first thing as like a release for that DVD. Like, they rarely run DVD commercials except for Marvel.
I don't even think they advertise
anymore.
that shit anymore. Yeah,
nah.
like I need to go find that. I've only seen it twice, but I saw it in theaters, but I need to watch it again. I gave this film not high enough of a grade. I gave it an A plus, and it needs to be an A plus plus. That movie is Ambulance. No, I'm just kidding. Not Ambulance. All right, I have to come clean. In my Taika love fest that I've been in since Thor came out, I've revisited a movie that I have notoriously shit on that we did cover on this podcast, Jojo Rabbit. I did revisit Jojo Rabbit. I will say I still don't find it particularly funny, but I did find it a bit heartwarming this time, which completely changed my experience because when I watched it in the movie theater, it was very bad vibes. I was in a theater with a ton of Jewish people, and I felt extremely uncomfortable. And I did not know what to laugh at or what I could laugh at. And I just was uncomfortable, and I just did not enjoy the film. I have rewatched it. It has all the heart that Taika gives you. I don't remember what my grade was, but I would give this a solid B. I still don't think it's very funny. I know that there are a lot of jokes in the movie, but I just really like the ScarJo performance. The kids are really good. And I'm just kind of into it. So I have to change my take on that. I have slandered that movie before. I have called it bad. It's not bad at all. I actually had a pretty good time. So I'm going to change my grade on Jojo Rabbit to a B.
Nice.
Yeah,
Jojo Rabbit. I don't think I was as affected as because I didn't get to see it in theaters. I don't think I was as affected as everybody else was by the movie. I still think it was brilliant. I also I think I had the twist spoiled for me, to be completely honest. But I can see where it would be an uncomfortable viewing.
I fucking love that movie, dude. Since the day I saw it in theaters, I was like, this is amazing.
Let's see. I'm going to go all the way back, and I don't know what I gave this movie, but I know I rated it lower than y'all did. Because I don't hold it in as high regard as y'all did, but looking back on my review, it's not accurate of what the film actually is. The Prestige, I got to give a better grade.
Yes.
Than what I gave it. I think I don't even know. Most of the movies we do are in the B's, by the way. Spoiler alert for this podcast.
That's just kind of how we roll.
That's true.
That's true.
B minus to B plus, somewhere in there. Like 90% of the movies we do.
Yeah. So because most movies are fine. So that movie is like an A minus. It definitely is probably his most. I don't even think it's his most accessible film. Nolan's most accessible film.
I feel like I'd call it his most like complete film.
Right. I think that's probably a good way of putting it.
It makes the most sense. It's like, I don't know. Everything is there. It's not like particularly carried by one aspect of it. Like, obviously Tenet is carried by like the action scenes or
a movie I still haven't finished, by the way.
Yeah. Inception is carried by like the cinematography and visual effects or whatever. And like meme culture, basically. But like, Prestige is just all around solid, done really well, like a really well executed movie.
Where do y'all stand on Tenet now that COVID is no longer with us? Like COVID is gone. I don't know if y'all know that, but now that COVID is no longer with us, you can go to the theater willy-nilly, breathe on people. Like I said, where does Tenet now stand for you after you can actually go to a theater experience and it wasn't just like an anomaly back then?
First of all, I did watch this movie in the theater, and that's
what I'm saying.
Problem.
That's what I'm saying.
I couldn't fucking hear half the dialogue because the sound mixing in this film is the worst of all time.
It's so bad.
When I watched it at home and I had the subtitles, I enjoyed it a little bit more. I don't think I enjoyed it much more. It's still a big dumb action movie, so like the dialogue that I was missing in the movie theater actually didn't do a lot to help me more understand the concepts, but I had a pretty good time. I would probably keep my rating the same, whatever I gave it at the time, but it was much better. It was a better experience, at least when there were subtitles, because literally the scene when they're in the little cool fancy boats is just like a complete washout. Like whatever it said, they could have been saying my name and my address in that scene. I would have had no idea. I was just sitting there. Like I didn't know what was being said at all.
I loved it when I saw it in theaters. I actually saw it 3 times, so there was nothing else to do. And I had AMC A-list just chilling there. I've been being charged for like the entire pandemic and not using
that $20 just burning a hole in your pocket.
So I went and saw Tenet 3 times in the theater. I loved it. I think I gave it like an A- or something like that when I first saw it. I haven't gone back to rewatch it in a few months now, but I still really enjoyed it. And every time that I hear people say they didn't understand Tenet, I'm like, yes, you did. Like they literally told you at the beginning of the movie, don't think about it, just vibe. Like,
They did say that.
Just vibe. It's not that deep. Like shit is going backwards now. That's all. And so like I get that like kind of defensive about it and like how good it is. So yeah, my opinion on it hasn't lowered at all. It's still like an A- for me.
That's interesting. I still have not finished that movie. I couldn't do it. Like, but yeah, you're right, Tej. It's like, what was the meme? It's my subtitles. I can't hear without my subtitles.
Yes. I've never felt more seen than that meme because I literally, I really wish that you could buy movie theater seats that would let you see subtitles. Like that would enhance my movie experience to the peak level. I love subtitles, man. I love them.
I think they have accessibility features at like some Cinemarks and AMC for deaf audience, and this would probably be taking this out of the hands of actual deaf people. But yeah, it's like I saw they ran like a short film of it. It's like a box that you put in front of you that has the dialogue on.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Man, I don't want to be an
used,
asshole, but man, I would fucking love that. It really adds something to watching movie and TV shows because it's like people wrote this stuff down before they was being acted. It was on a piece of paper, and I just kind of like to read the way that it was written. Like I find that to be an enhancing experience, but I understand that I'm in the minority. Although we are legion now, there are so many people that watch.
So many people love subtitles.
It's not. It used to be weird when people came to your house and you had subtitles on. Now people don't even trip. People don't say anything. But like my house, the subtitles are always on, unless there's sports on. Sports, I don't want subtitles because I don't really care about the dialogue.
They're always behind too.
Yeah, anything live, it's like
right.
no subtitles.
Exactly. That's
you know where that started for me, and it really continued. It was Game of Thrones.
That makes sense because some of that stuff is hard to catch.
Game of Thrones, I was like, why are they whispering to each? I need to know what's going on here. And that show, more than anything else in the first few seasons, you really need to know who's stabbing each other's backs and like the names and everything. And yeah, I was just like, I can't do it. And I can't blare this at 100 with my roommates trying to be asleep, because then the next episode will come on and it'll be.
I told everyone that would, as the show was going on, people were getting into it at different times. Everyone I recommended the show to, which was a lot of people, I was just like, watch with the subtitles because it's a lot of white people. They all kind of look alike. And you're not going to know who is in what family for at least a season and a half. Nope. So like you need those subtitles because you will get the names, you will get the houses, you will get the places, you will get the areas, and you'll know them better than you think because you're watching them and you're hearing them being said versus all that stuff just drowns out in your brain when you're putting all the names and places at you.
Yeah,
in the beginning,
like,
you don't know
what's
happening.
A dragon fell winter? Like what?
Where are they? Which area of the map is this?
It's very important in that show you're watching, you know where they are and who's there. Like it's very important you know what area of the map that they're on. So like
until the end of the show when it's just not important.
Where travel doesn't matter anymore. Right. They had fast travel in the last season.
They unlocked fast travel finally. After
they
6 seasons.
Kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. Like what?
Oh.
I'm ready to be hurt again, guys. Are y'all seeing people dive back into the Game of Thrones?
I'm way back in.
People are getting back into the rewatches because obviously we got more Game of Thrones content coming, and I'm about to be with them, bros. I'm ready to be hurt again. I've seen those first 5 or 6 seasons at least at the minimum 3 times, but the first couple seasons I've seen probably 8 or 9 times because I would do a rewatch every season. So but I'm ready to be hurt again. I'm ready to die.
I'm not gonna do a rewatch of the whole thing because I don't have that kind of free time, but I'm definitely all in for House of Blood and Dragons and
I'm in.
Sisters
Fires
and
and
whatever it's called.
I'm ready to
whatever
be
it is.
I can't wait.
I haven't watched the trailer. Did they release a trailer for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
They
released something. Like I don't know.
I've been
haven't watched
avoiding them. I've been avoiding them on purpose, but I'm already in. I'm night 1 HBO. I will be there. I will have my kettle corn
every Sunday. You will catch me on the TL live tweeting House of Blind Dragons.
I'm sure I'll be there with you. I haven't revisited Game of Thrones. Caitlin tried to watch it for the first time a couple of years ago, and so that was fun watching her watch it.
Oh, that's the best, man. When you have somebody to watch that's watching for the first time and you get to go back in, that's the best.
Y'all are terrible people, by the way. All of you who do that.
What?
You're just fucking preying on people's downfalls as they get to the Red Wedding and shit. Like,
yeah,
y'all
it's awesome.
Watching people get to the Red Wedding is one of the most fun things.
All of y'all are
you know what's about to happen. It's amazing. It is incredible.
Yeah, so she didn't get that far, so like that was the one time that I got to revisit it. But that last season, and this is a tale as old as time now with this show, that last season was just so disappointing that I was like, fuck, I don't fucking care anymore, man.
Just kind of ruined.
I don't care. I don't care.
They made Bran the fucking king. They looked in our faces and played in our fucking faces, bro. That's disgusting.
I don't even have a beef with that. It's just like
how they did
everything else.
Everything else didn't matter, and they told you that it didn't matter. You're just like, then what the fuck?
Daenerys broke bad, and then they had to go justify it. If you have to go justify it, you probably didn't make the right decision. I was furious. I was absolutely furious when Daenerys started burning down King's Landing. I was like, oh, this fucking sucks. I don't enjoy this at all. I don't think the character would go here. I spent 8 seasons with this character. I think I would have seen it coming if she was about to go blow up everything.
They should have just made 10 episodes like they always did. Take your time, get there, like build to it.
It's almost like they had to like
the Star Wars thing. Weren't they going to do Star Wars?
They got fired.
Star Wars, like, get them out of here. Get him out of here.
You fucking goofs. You could have finished your show correctly. You were trying to get out of there and you had senioritis and go make Star Wars and you ain't been in it never happened. Like
it's like HBO was gonna have them make that dumbass Confederate show and everyone's like, no. Oh
my God. That's what we should have known. That's what we should have known. Yeah, these dudes are on some other shit. This finale might be bad because they literally in the middle of their last season of their very popular show was like, hey, our new show is about Confederates.
What if slavery never ended?
What if the Confederates won?
Yo, I remember like I when I first saw that little whatever, it was like an advertisement or something or like a little blurb. I was like, oh, that's fake. I literally was like, there's no way that's real. There's no way.
No fucking way. They were literally going to make a show about what if slavery never ended in America, and that was supposed to be some shit we were going to be excited about. Thank God somebody at HBO read enough of the tweets and was like, no, thank you.
Actually, has anyone fumbled their cachet? They became y'all. They could have went to do whatever the fuck they wanted to in Hollywood, whatever they wanted to do. And
they were about to.
That they did was get fired from Star Wars and write a show about slavery and Confederacy that subsequently got canceled because Twitter was like, oh, fuck no.
Did they try to do that? Alone. It doesn't matter why they tried to do that, but did they try to do that off the back of that show where Man in the High Castle, which is based on existing IP, where the Nazis won?
Yeah, it seemed like it was the same concept.
Yeah,
I
guess it doesn't like. But what made them? Yeah, what made them think that it's like, hey, what if slaves? What if slaves? And they were like, what? No.
There's also already a movie like this called Confederate States of America, and the premise is literally what if the Confederacy had won and then they were like our United States were the Confederate States. That movie already exists, but it's like a satire. And these dudes weren't about to make a satire. They were about to make a legit.
Absolutely
They were
not.
trying to make like a Westworld.
Yes, they were gonna make Westworld slavery.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyway, back to our regrade.
Back to our redraft. Yeah.
I have one if y'all need another one. I have
Yeah,
one.
go for it.
I still got some written.
We
down
already
here.
talked about this director. This is the same director that made The Northman, which is a perfect film. But his film before The Northman was very far from perfect, and that movie is called The Lighthouse.
It stinks.
I think I gave it a D or somewhere in that range. I maybe I even gave it a C minus.
I'm not sure you were actually on that podcast.
You weren't on that podcast.
The podcast after you came on.
Perfect. I don't even have to change anything. That shit is an F. I'm sorry. I don't want that shit is bad. Everything about it is just so weird. It's supposed to be funny, but it's not actually funny. And also none of us understand ye old English to even understand the jokes that are written into the dialogue. I watched it again at home with subtitles and I was like, maybe it'll be funny. It's the same. It's gibberish. It's literally gibberish. If you're going to make old English Shakespearean language, that shit better be acted perfectly like Denzel in the tragedy of Macbeth, which you don't know what he's saying, but you know exactly what he's saying because he's making Denzel faces and it's the greatest shit of all time.
He's giving bars.
He's giving literal bars in Shakespearean language. The Lighthouse, I'm gonna have to give that an F. And I love Eggers. I am Eggers Hive. I fucking knew that him making a blockbuster was going to be phenomenal. I did not know whether it was going to sell any tickets. It apparently did not sell any tickets, but I knew that shit was going to be great. He crushed it. I'm just not in on The Lighthouse. I'm sorry, Eggers.
Yeah, I was too nice to that movie. I wanted to like it because like every film nerd that I was like really into at that time fucking loved The Lighthouse and called it like a 10 of 10 and an A+ and all this other shit. And I really wanted to like be in on the joke and like be a part of the group who loved The Lighthouse or whatever. Shit was ass. It wasn't good.
We kind of talked in circles on that movie as well as like wanting to like diagnose it a little bit more, but I don't even know if Eggers wants it to be diagnosed that much when half the jokes are shit, piss, fart, fuck. And it's just like I don't know. I don't like that movie. I really don't. And I think I gave it like a C- just based on filmmaking, but it's just, it's impossible to watch. Sorry. Like maybe I'm dumb movie boy, but it's impossible. I hated it. I actually hated it. I did not like that movie at all.
Nope, not one bit. But that podcast does have one of the funniest stories we've ever gotten on this podcast.
Right.
Caitlin talks about her professor's husband inventing the fleshlight. Fucking incredible.
Caitlin was on that episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think that was the first time we ever had her on the podcast. Or it was really early on.
Really early on. She talked about her professor's brother-in-law invented the fleshlight. But they went into go back and listen to it on, we may have to post that audio because it's one of the funniest fucking things I've ever heard in my entire life. But he went into detail about how he made it. And like, she relayed that information to a class full of kids. And apparently this person lives in the Lake Travis area.
Oh no.
Yeah. The person who invented the fleshlight and has like the trademark, millionaire, lives in the Lake Travis area.
Well, that's where millionaires live. Incredible
content. I gotta go back and find it. So
crying, laughing when she told that story. because it was like his wife was away, which is how all these stories start. And
he had like a fishing net or something.
He had a fishing net, and he told his buddies like, "Hey, doesn't this look like my wife's vagina?"
How would his buddies know what his wife's vagina?
Yeah, exactly.
He put a fishing net into like a hollowed out flashlight, and did the flashlight thing, and then like told all of his friends like, "Hey, this feels just like a vagina," and they were like, "Yeah, you should sell this.
Yeah, you should definitely."
This is insanity.
Yeah, that's the flashlight. But anyway, The Lighthouse stinks. We're all downgrading that one right along with you, TH. I didn't even think about that one, but yeah, that movie stinks. Get out of here. One that I'm going to downgrade, and TJ, I think you're right there with me on this movie being ass, even though everyone likes to call it a classic, Fight Club. It's not
Turn
good. It's not good. I gave it a C plus originally because there are some like fun moments in it. Obviously, Brad Pitt's very fun, but the twist that everyone goes fucking crazy for and the social commentary that people are like, oh, you don't like Fight Clubs because you didn't understand the social commentary. Both of those things stink. The twist makes no fucking sense. The social commentary is like the most normal shit you ever heard in your life. Like, oh, capitalism is bad. Thanks.
Actually, when you think about it, capitalism, right? Bad, right?
Capitalism,
That's
bad. Toxic masculinity, it's toxic. Like, yeah, okay.
Hey, all the stuff that you own is really holding you back from what really matters in life. Fighting with your bros.
Fighting with yourself in empty parking lots.
Just to feel alive.
Yeah, and this is how you make friends.
Punching yourself in front of your boss.
You beat your own ass in public, and then dudes will just stand outside of your house for 3 days to want to be your friend, and then they'll go blow up the credit agencies for you. And you
because that's how credit
works.
Yeah, that's how credit disappears.
It's blow it up.
Yeah, so Fight Club. I'm moving down. I gave it a C plus. I'm giving it a C minus now.
The best part about Fight Club now is people telling you that you don't understand Fight Club.
It's like, okay, bro. Like I said on TikTok that Fight Club isn't good, and everybody like was flooding our comments like, what a dumb take. I can't believe Dex said he doesn't like Fight Club. He didn't fucking get it. I'm like, bro, I understand you watched a fucking hour-long YouTube video essay talking about toxic masculinity and capitalism and shit. I don't care. It's like, those aren't complicated thoughts. It's very easy to understand.
Really need to go watch like foreign cinema to get movies with ideas that are better, not ideas, but executed better with those ideas than Fight Club. I can tell you right now.
Shout out to Brad Pitt.
I don't watch like a lot of foreign cinema, but I can already tell you that in Europe they're doing these ideas better than what David Fincher and Brad Pitt did in Fight Club. And just sorry.
But yeah, I don't understand why everybody likes it. Like, is it like cool and fun for most of the runtime? Yeah, but it's also dumb as shit. So C minus.
Fuck that film. We did a good job slandering that film. What else you got, Roy? I don't got any more.
I had
Tiger King. Everybody knows Tiger King stinks. So.
Tiger King, going back on it, we were kind of like, oh, this is something. It stinks. That sucks.
You can listen to the first 5 minutes of our Tiger King episode, and you can realize immediately these guys are starving for content, just like the rest of America was at the time where Tiger King came out. That's why it became a phenomenon. But there are much better documentaries, even documentaries that are about funny subjects like the Tiger King. They are much better documentaries. Those are just white trash people that were on camera acting crazy. They tried to sneak out a second season after we could go outside, and nobody watched that shit.
Nobody. I was like,
they also got bad reviews too.
I didn't click one. No way. I got shit I can actually do now. Sports are back on. Why would I be watching the fucking Tiger
And they
King
tried
2?
to like get a bunch of other Tiger King related content in there. Like Peacock had like a Joe and Carol show. I think there was another like Carol Baskin show or something like that. Nobody cared. We're like, we're done.
We've had our fill with this story. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
We were locked in the house and now we're not. So bye.
We have plans. Netflix.
There's a bunch of, they put a camera in front of a bunch of rednecks and we're like, they're eating garbage. And isn't it funny? You're like, oh my God. Look at them go. You're just
you
like,
can buy a Tiger Cup for how much?
Yeah. It's like, it was so mean spirited. It's just like, watch these poor people struggle. And you're just like, oh no.
One of them got their arm bit off. And they're like, oh,
people were getting murdered and people were getting investigated for murders. Like it was, but yeah, that shit wasn't going to work
just
again.
Just a show filled with the worst fucking people.
And then there was like a random Scarface connection or something that I vaguely remember.
Right. Yeah. The guy in Miami that was just a drug kingpin was somehow connected to all of it. There's a movie that I'm gonna lower my grade on, and I don't quite remember. I know I gave it in the C's because I know that we are also starved for content. Malcolm and Marie. Do y'all remember this?
I actually had that on my list as a movie that I'm moving.
I wasn't gonna change my vote, but
I'm moving it down. I fucking hate that movie.
Damn.
Hate it.
I'm moving it up.
Hate
I'll let y'all bully me into giving it just a B.
You moved it up.
I'm moving it to a B plus.
I love that we have this movie here.
No,
Dex moved
hated that movie.
You moved it down.
That movie sucked its own dick for an hour and a half. I hated that.
I wonder what I gave it now. I want to know.
I think you were pretty low on it. I don't think you were like the lowest, but you were pretty low on it. Everybody
did not
was,
love
except me.
I'm closer to Roy than Dex on this one. I did not love it.
Whatever I gave it, move it down 2 grades. That shit.
I took a screenshot of our show notes for that episode. I think Jake was still doing the show notes at that point.
Right.
RIP. But
he's not dead. He's just
dead, by the way.
He's not dead.
Please don't.
Yeah, he's not dead. RIP to Jake producing this show.
There you go.
Guys, I don't even know what to say here. How dare this movie? How dare this movie? This week, we are joined by the one, the only, the recently joined cast member Tej to talk about the 2021 disaster movie, Malcolm and Marie.
Disaster movie.
Disaster movie.
Love this movie. Well, thank you for listening, Sam Levinson. If you are everybody else, though, and hated this movie, well, we want to talk to you. Give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. We'll happily talk about whatever piece of media you want us to.
Hey, those are amazing show notes, by the way. Those are amazing show notes. Good job, Jake.
I let y'all bully me into giving this movie
I can't believe you like that movie.
I want to give it a B plus.
Thanks, dude.
It absolutely sucked his own dick when he started talking about when he started getting
the movie
into
reviews of Assassination Nation.
Yes. That's when I was like, all right, guys, what are we really doing here with the jerk off stuff?
We was right though.
No, you saw Assassination Nation, didn't you, T?
I didn't see Assassination Nation.
Yes, I have seen it.
Right. So
also, it's not good. I'm sorry.
I assume that it's not, but yeah. First of all, John David Washington got some bars off in that movie, but also Sam Levinson wrote Zendaya's character, who countered with more bars, so he understood that he needed to be barred up. He had some self-reflection here. Y'all are not giving him credit for.
Not indicative of any relationship that I've ever been in, or any normal person has ever been in their entire relationship.
I don't want to watch normal people's relationships. I want to watch fucking Zendaya and John David Washington trade bars in black and white for an hour and a half.
Ugh, yuck.
Good content.
Make your own mac and cheese, John David Washington. I didn't like that one. I didn't like that movie at all. I'm
gonna watch it again.
Ew. Why waste your time with that? There's so much good TV out right now.
Another movie that I'm gonna actually move up. I gave No Time to Die a B. Going back now and having watched some of the other older Daniel Craig Bond films, no, I'm moving this shit up. It's an A minus.
Yeah,
wait. Is No Time to Die the last one that just came out?
Yeah.
You moved it up with that horrible ass villain that they had in that shit.
The villain sucks. Everything else about the movie.
Everything else about that movie is awesome. I will agree with you.
Including Ana de Armas, who is top 5 dead or alive.
She literally came into that movie for 10 minutes and stole the film and my heart. Everything. That is. Oh my god.
She single-handedly makes me want to watch that Marilyn Monroe movie.
Seeing her in The Gray Man just like made me think about No Time to Die again, and I was like, yeah, that was dope.
I don't care at all about Marilyn Monroe. You want to know where I'm going to be when Blonde drops? In a fucking movie theater watching the Ana de Armas, bro. You're going
to have to bring your trench coat and sunglasses because that movie is ready to
be recognized.
Listen, I don't want nobody to see me how I'm be acting in that movie. That woman is, I cannot wait.
I wasn't going to watch it, but now I'm going to watch it purely off the strength of Ana de Armas. Like I said, top 5 dead or alive. But yeah, everything else about that movie, except Rami Malek, who is the fucking worst. Rami Malek is ass. I need y'all to stop lying to me. I need him to give back his Oscar and be banned for 10 years like Will Smith for stealing it from Bradley Cooper. But everything else about that movie is pretty good. And like I said in my review, I didn't know anything about the random lady who was like the love interest in that movie. So I was like, I don't give a fuck about her. And then I watched the other movies and like learned about Bond's like emotional journey with like love and loss and like this chick dying in Casino Royale and all that other shit. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is much better now. So I'm moving up to an A-. Rami Malek is a thing keeping it from being an A+.
It's the first Bond that I actually saw a through line to the end, because the rest are basically like an anthology. Mostly there's a few Connery ones that I think have carry over, but this is the first one where it's like in a complete story arc from start to finish.
And also it's like fucking bleak compared to the other ones.
Like he just, but I love, the best thing about that movie is Daniel Craig being, you're gonna have to fucking kill me to get me out of this. Kill me. And they were just like, okay, fine, let's like not even leave it up to the imagination. They exploded an island.
They literally exploded the entire island just so you can have no doubts that Daniel Craig will never be Bond ever again.
And we're not gonna like cut away. Like you're going to see him explode, and then we're gonna like fade into a white. Like, he's out of here.
Big gone. Forever box. If you could find enough of him to put in that box. But I don't have any more. Is there one just off the top of your head in general, like not that we've covered? I'll go over some of the Twitter responses that we put out, which I find some were really funny. Some of these, but one that I said, I've kind of soured on the whole Deadpool thing.
Okay, yeah,
you soured on the new Deadpool, or you soured on the old shit that we've already got?
Like Deadpool 1 was a riot. It was really fun to go into the theater and see that happen, but like it's just been Ryan Reynolds to death. The rest of like. I don't know if it's like the films or just the brand of humor.
Ryan Reynolds that we've got.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely something.
Them damn Mint Mobile ads you keep getting on social media.
Apparently.
Are you trying to say that you're not going to move the Adam Project up to an A+? Is that what you're telling us right now?
I moved that movie down. I think I gave it like a C+ or something. Like, ugh.
Another fucking Netflix shit box.
Wasn't one of you just talking about how much you love Guardians 2? Was that y'all or was it somebody else?
That was me.
I would go the opposite way on Guardians 2. Obviously Guardians 1 is. It's not that I don't like Guardians 2. It's just that every time I rewatch it, which is probably 3 or 4 times by now, I enjoy it a little bit less, and I don't know why. There's something. I love Kurt Russell. I don't know. Well, obviously the Chris Pratt.
The common denominator here.
That guy fucking stinks. But Guardians 1 still has that same charm every time I watch it, and Guardians 2 for whatever reason doesn't. So I haven't rewatched Deadpool 2, but I've rewatched Deadpool 1, and I still think that shit is phenomenal. But I haven't rewatched Deadpool 2 to have another opinion on it.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it's very rare that I feel compelled to rewatch any superhero movie like at home. I'll usually rewatch MCU movies and like just good superhero movies in general twice in a theater, but very, very rarely do I watch them like at home.
I don't know. I got on a kick yesterday, man, and was just rewatching all the big scenes on Disney Plus. I was just going down the line, but I do remember the chain scene from
Guardians
2, where he's fighting his dad. And I was like, I got to watch that again. And that whole 30-minute stretch at the end of that movie is phenomenal. And you got to go back and you look at those compared to some of the, and you hate CGI Twitter and stuff like this, but some of the just like how some of these movies are put together recently. And it's just like, there was definitely kind of like a higher standard, I feel like, just a little bit ago. But that's just me. Let's see. Some of the ones that put on Twitter, do y'all have any ones that we haven't covered that y'all have kind of soured on or gone back and thought maybe these are better than I remember?
American Psycho, I'm moving down a notch. I think I added it like a B. I'm gonna move it down to a C+. And then one that I'm gonna move down just ever so slightly is Booksmart. I still love that movie. It's like I can rewatch it pretty much anytime. I've given it an A+, like forever and ever. I'm gonna move it down to just an A, just a regular A.
Okay. I'm gonna move Midsommar up from an A+ to an A++. That is the greatest movie of all time.
You go to war with people on that movie.
I can't stop watching it. Like it is so phenomenal. Also, we're getting a new movie from both him this year, and we're getting a new movie from the guy who made The Favorite,
Lanthimos.
Yes.
That movie sounds complicated, and
we're getting
the Emma Stone one.
Both of the movies, the new movies from both these directors sound extremely complicated. I cannot fucking wait. I'll be there night one for both of these films, even if Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 0 before I walk in there. Those two guys they got me locked up. I'm gonna watch their next 10 movies. I don't care what happens. I just love them.
That Emma Stone is
one of my favorite movies ever, man. And he's working with Emma Stone again. I can't wait, man. I literally can't wait.
Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Rami Youssef, Mark Ruffalo, Gerard Carmichael, Chris Abbott.
Fire, bro.
The synopsis for that sounds buck wild.
Upon drowning herself to escape from her abusive husband, a woman has her brain replaced with the brain of her unborn child with the help of her father.
That sounds insane.
It's either going to be a 7 on Rotten Tomatoes or Emma Stone is going to win another Oscar.
Yeah. That even sounds insane for somebody that made The Lobster. And I watched The Lobster in theater. And like, that sounds insane for that man.
Like, apparently this is based on a book, which like is even more insane to me somehow.
I can't wait. You want to talk about putting the right director for the job? If your shit is that weird and you watch The Lobster, you're going to say, this guy needs to make my fucking book into a movie. And that's what happened. And
who's in? There's like a big cast for the who was the other director? I'm sorry.
Ari Aster.
There's a big cast for the Ari Aster movie too.
Yep, there is. I forgot who was in it, but there's some stars in it. Ari is out here really getting to it.
Disappointment.
Joaquin Phoenix, Nathan Lane.
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah, he's the star.
Patty Lupone, Amy Ryan, Michael Gandolfini,
Nathan Lane, Parker Posey. Yeah,
Michael Gandolfini's out here getting work.
But the big one is Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, that's why that's interesting. I'll say that with that weirdo behind the camera and the weirdo in front of the camera.
That guy screams needs to be an Ari Aster movie because Joaquin Phoenix is a weirdo.
Apparently, it's got delayed to 2023 though. So
fuck. Also, Nope is coming. I already bought my tickets for Friday. Nope is coming.
I'm in there.
Those reviews are looking pretty good, bros. I think Jordan Peele might be back. I can't wait. Also, I'm in love with Keke Palmer now.
One of the weirdest press tours for a movie, and we'll get to our Twitter responses here in a second, but one of the weirdest press tours for a movie that I've ever seen, personally, because they just haven't done anything. Like just now, like just this week, they have started to like go do the circuit where they do on Hot Ones or go on the morning shows or whatever. Like just this week, normally for like these, what is supposed to probably be a huge movie because Jordan Peele now has that kind of clout. Like they're doing this weeks in advance. No, they're just like, we're going to release 2 trailers and you're going to have to deal with that. And then Jordan Peele is going to come on and speak real reckless about how he's saving movie theaters and stuff.
I will say though that those trailers were running what feels like for 6 months now. It feels
That's true. The first one was running forever, but they didn't.
It was running for so long.
One.
They didn't put out a different one. Yeah. It took them forever.
So that was weird. What was the thing that you retweeted today, Dex, from him? That you're like, oh, brother.
Yeah, he said something about like wanting to save Americans, like make the next great American
movie
UFO or something.
Tom Cruise already did that. Tom Cruise literally already saved movie theaters like this year. It just happened. We all just saw it.
Jordan Peele was worried about the future of cinema, so he wrote #Nope movie as the great American UFO story.
That's swag. Why do you hate that? Why? What's the hate about that? That's fucking swag. I love that.
That's the most pretentious shit I ever heard.
This guy has made 1.65, 1.7 perfect films. 1.7 perfect films, bros. We won't talk about the third act of Us, but other than that, his record is flawless, guys. And he's about to be back on. I can't wait, guys. I've been waiting. My fingers are itching for how much I can't wait to see Nope.
If I don't like Nope, I'm going to recuse myself from that podcast.
Yeah, we're not having it. We're not having it. We're not having none of that.
You're gonna have to bring on a third. You're gonna have to bring on a pinch hitter.
The allegations are still out there, bros. So we can't have you out here getting caught up out here. So you can't slander. Nope. If there's any problems with the movie, which there won't be, leave it to Dex and I to point them out. But there's not gonna be any problems with the movie. It's gonna be perfect.
What movie? What is a movie that you have changed your opinion on over time at One Take Podcast? We put this Twitter prompt out there. Just some Twitter responses from Chris Wooden at Slow Dumars. I recently watched Garden State for the first time since college and couldn't believe that 21-year-old me thought it was the deepest, most incredible movie ever. Yeah,
everyone needs to go rewatch Fight Club and have that experience. Everybody who likes Fight Club, go watch it again in your big age. Go see how deep that movie is today.
Prop Joe says, tweeted, everyone was just trying to find their manic pixie dream girl. I called that the eternal sunshine of a spotless mind complex. Let's see. We got one here that said, there was a point in time where I claimed that the Revenant was elite. Looking back, I let the hype for Leo and the cinematography skew my view of the Revenant. It's still solid, but I haven't even made it through a rewatch, which no, you can't. It's like 3 hours of
how can you rewatch
gowns.
The Revenant? No, Leo has never rewatched The Revenant. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Leo doesn't even know he was in that movie. Let's see. At Big Millie _ says the other guys used to be stupid, but now it's top 10 funniest movies I've ever seen. I kind of agree with that. And tried to we
how can you agree with that? The other guys was hilarious the second it came out. I'm saying
it has definitely grown on people though over time. Like if you go and you look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores of that movie, I don't think people quite understood that was the direction that I always forget his name.
Will Ferrell?
No, his directing partner.
Oh, fuck. The dude who did Anchorman.
He's done a ton of things now. Why do I always do Adam McKay?
Big Short. Adam McKay.
That was the direction that Adam McKay was starting to go, where it was like real life subjects sort of, but heighten them. And I don't think people quite got where he was going. And it's still kind of a slapstick Will Ferrell comedy, but I don't think people quite embraced where he was going. If you go and look at the Rotten Tomatoes scores, I think it's in like the 60s for that movie. And the audience scores aren't very high either. But this guy also said he tried to rewatch The Matrix a couple of years ago and couldn't make it past a half an hour. The original Matrix, which I don't get, the original Matrix on rewatch is still great.
Who said that? At
Big Millie _
Block.
Have we ever blocked somebody from this account? Because I think this is the first time we should do
that. Let's see. Paul Catalina. Y'all want to take a swing at what
Blocked.
he said?
I already saw it.
What'd he say?
He said Dreamgirls, the lead actress can't act.
Blocked.
All right. We're not doing that. We're not.
He said he's not backing down.
We're not. He said he's not backing down.
Our good friend Brian at Sir _ Fahrenheit said, I probably watched Waiting 50 times in college. I tried to watch it again a few months ago and made it about 15 minutes. It's so cringe. And I said, yeah, it's also problematic too.
Yeah, very problematic.
If you haven't watched Waiting in a long time, Ryan Reynolds is basically a pedophile.
Oh,
in that movie. So that's fun.
Yes.
Let's see some of the quote tweets and then we'll wrap up here. Our boy Rascal F. Kennedy said Friday the 13th is the best slasher reboot film to date. That's interesting. I wouldn't even have considered this one. But here's the one right up your alley, Teej. At JH Goodridge says, GH Goodridge, sorry, says The Professional, Leon the Professional.
Great film.
I saw it when I was still young and dumb, and I missed all of the problematic elements of the film.
Very problematic.
Just got caught up in the action sequences and Gary Oldman. Woof. Yeah, that movie, when you know even a little bit about the director and everything else, yuck.
But Gary Oldman is so fucking awesome.
Yucky. Ugh.
It's nasty stuff.
Let's see. This one, I don't know where this guy was coming from, but this film must have really, really pissed him off. At Thunder Heat Up. I thought Dark Knight Rises was really good when I watched it, but the more and more I thought about it, I realized that film is dog shit.
I wouldn't call it dog shit, but it's not.
Yeah, it's not dog shit.
And on any given day, like that film is like really, I don't want to put it like top 2 in conference, but any given day, that film is like still an expertly crafted movie that could really in any given day. The Dark Knight Rises is the best DCEU film ever, but it's not in the DCEU. But
Bane is just so phenomenal in the film. The portrayal of Bane, voice box thing aside, is just so good.
Man, I wish I could have heard what he said. That would have been great.
Having Catwoman kill Batman or is just, or having Catwoman be the one to kill Bane is just an all-time awful decision in that movie, because you do so much work with the Bane character, and then Catwoman just gets rid of him extremely easily. It's like, oh, he's got
cool. Let's see here. Hussein has the Terminator 2 take that we won't have to talk about.
Hussein, you're blocked.
And then Apollo Colin used to love Mission Impossible 2, still a good movie, but doesn't hold up and should have ended on the first out, not the third. The weakest Mission Impossible movie, hands down, debate a wall. And he's not wrong. It definitely is
wrong.
It definitely
is. It's not bad, but it's clearly the weakest of the movies. But it's not. It's just weird. It's just like it exists
different film.
It's totally different than the other films. Like it's just weird.
It definitely is. Tom Cruise saw some John Woo movies and was like, "What if we did that? Yeah, what if we did that?" And it
There's
just
like doves and shit flying around.
Yeah,
like that shit.
he's like dual wielding 2 guns, and like his hair's flying everywhere, and he's like,
they tried to make him too cool when the coolness is Tom Cruise trying to kill himself. That's what makes the movies cool. You don't have to make Tom Cruise try to look like present day Keanu Reeves and John Wick. You don't have to do that.
There is a motorcycle chase in there though that is actually really, really incredible. But yeah, it is like there is like the classic slow-mo and doves and everything else and explosions, and it's like,
do y'all remember who the lead woman is in that movie? His love interest? Do y'all remember who that is?
It's Thandie Newton, or not Newton.
I think it is Thandie Newton.
Yeah, I think so. Tandy Newton, I guess, is how you pronounce it.
Very.
I fell in love with her in that movie. I think that was the first time I ever fell in love with anybody.
Extremely gorgeous in that film.
Yeah, Tandy Newton.
Extremely gorgeous in that film, guys. Check it out. It's insane the numbers she's putting up in that film in terms of what she looks like. It's crazy.
Yeah. So there's that. All right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
No. Okay.
That's all
cool.
You get from us.
Next week,
every Florence Pugh movie is an A+. He has never missed, not once.
Shout out to the GOAT. Definitely next week we are going to end up doing Nope. We also may try to fit in a Gray Man review in there sometime soon.
At minimum, I'm going to write that one on the blog, so you'll see something about the Gray Man somewhere.
Yep, a lot of good TV out right now that we're not going to review on the podcast, but I did review.
I started The Bear, guys.
Yeah,
I am in the hive. I am in the fucking hive.
Yeah, I did review The Bear.
Shit is so good.
It's so good. If you like Uncut Gems or any of the Safdie brothers movies, you're gonna love this movie. It's not sort of the same high
as hell.
Yeah, it's not the same sort of high concept, but it is super stressful. But yeah, so I reviewed The Bear on FX on Hulu. Also, The Old Man is out right now, which I haven't gotten that deep into that.
Started, yeah.
I started it. It's pretty good, but I think I've only watched 2 episodes, but I got to get back to it. But The Bear is going to take all my time until I'm finished with it.
It's really, it goes by quickly. It's 30-minute episodes. And then I finished Stranger Things finally. So there's.
I'm still waiting to start that until you start talking about it.
My Things, Stranger. But that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think of any like movies that I've watched recently, but
I'm going through Loot on Apple TV Plus right now. The Maya Rudolph show, where she basically plays Bezos' ex-wife. pretty funny. The first episode kind of stinks, but all the other ones have been good after that. So
I heard good things. Yeah, I need to go back and watch Peacemaker. Peacemaker was great. No one's talking about Peacemaker anymore. It's the perfect time to go back to it if you haven't seen it. John Cena is an American hero, and Peacemaker is great.
Yeah, so you can find all that stuff, all the reviews on apollohou.com under, well, actually they're just on the flash screen, the homepage right now. And then you can go there, you can buy a shirt, you can buy a watch. Actually, Dex, you take this away. You know all the Watch Movies merch that we have.
Yeah, we got a Watch Movies shirt. We got a Watch Movie shirt with the VHS cover on the back. And we got the Real Cinema Hours shirt, which is my personal favorite. You can get all of those on apollohou.com. And if you use promo code ONETAKEPOD, get 10% off on all that shit and all the other Apollo shit. Just go cop.
Yeah, read our reviews, listen to our podcast, download, rate, subscribe. We know you listen to us. Please leave a review.
Yeah, leave a fucking review, you cowards. What are you, afraid of fucking Apple? You're afraid Tim Cook's gonna come fight you if you leave a pod like
if we know anything about movies, is that some version of Tim Cook is gonna be the bad guy in the future. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But not.
Oh, by the way,
so just leave a review.
I want to give Jurassic Park World Dominion, if I did not before, an F. Speaking of weird, Tim Cook.
That's weird, what. I meant to say that.
Get that shit the fuck out of here. That shit is awful.
Terrible. Anyway, thank you so much for downloading, listening, subscribing. You can go follow us at One Take Pod on all platforms. Thank you so much, and we're out.
#sports1SPU.
Oh yeah, that too.